November 24, 2009. A crisp night in Utah. The stars were scattered like ice across the black sky. Beneath them, a young man prepared for a little adventure, not knowing it would be his last. John Edward Jones, 26 years old. Medical student. Husband. Father to a 1-year-old girl, with another child on the way. A man of faith, of strength, of dreams. He hadn't been caving in years. But this wasn't just any trip. It was a family bonding moment, a journey into the Nutty Putty Cave. A place few truly understood, and even fewer respected. Nutty Putty Cave, a limestone labyrinth. Discovered in the 1960s, closed for safety, then reopened. And known for its terrifyingly tight passages. A place where the walls move in. Where turning back is sometimes not an option. John entered with his brother Josh and a few others. Flashlights flickered against the jagged rock. The air grew colder. The walls, closer. And then, John saw a narrow passage. He thought it was the birth canal, a known tight tunnel that opened up further in. Pauses. He squeezed in headfirst. It was tight. Too tight. But he pushed forward. And then, he couldn't move. His hands were pinned under his chest. The stone scraped his ribs with every breath. He tried to wiggle. John's brother Josh heard nothing for a few seconds. Then came the voice. Muffled, echoing, "I'm stuck. Really stuck." Panic set in. They tried to pull him out, but every tug only made things worse. John slid deeper, now more than 100 feet underground, at a sharp angle, nearly vertical. His heart beat faster. Blood rushed to his head. The pressure behind his eyes. Unbearable. Josh ran for help. And soon, the rescue teams arrived. It was now a full-scale operation. Dozens of rescuers gathered outside the cave entrance as the night wore on. Inside, John was slipping in and out of consciousness. He prayed. He hallucinated. He sang hymns. He begged. Whispers. "Please. Don't let me die down here." They tried everything. A pulley system. A rope harness. They broke pieces of rock. One rescuer even descended upside down to reach him. 20 hours in, John was still alive. Still coherent. Still speaking. But gravity was crushing him. His organs were under extreme stress. Blood pooled in his head. His breathing slowed. Every time they tried to move him, he screamed in pain. "It feels like I'm dying." Rescuers were heartbroken. They could see him. They could touch him. But they couldn't pull him free. A massive drill was brought in. A final attempt. They'd break the rock around him. The pulley system snapped. A metal anchor broke loose. A rescuer nearly fell. The tunnel had turned on them. It was over. John was told the truth. They couldn't get him out. Not safely. Not alive. He wept. He prayed. He forgave. "Tell my wife I love her. Take care of my daughter." And then, he closed his eyes. At 11:56 p.m., John Edward Jones slipped into unconsciousness. The cave grew quiet. The earth held. They never recovered his body. It was too dangerous. The tunnel too unstable. To try would risk more lives. Instead, they sealed Nutty Putty Cave. Poured concrete at the entrance. Installed a plaque. John remains there, even now, entombed in stone, 100 feet beneath the earth. A permanent part of the cave. Some say, when the wind blows across the mouth of the mountain, you can hear a voice whispering prayers. He wasn't the first to get stuck in Nutty Putty. But he was the last. Because the cave was closed forever after him. This is the true horror of caving. Not monsters. But silence. Not darkness. The cave that took him, the Neil Moss tragedy, March 1959. Derbyshire, England. Beneath the peaceful hills of the Peak District lies a place so old, so dark. Locals call it the Devil's Arse, Peak Cavern. It's not a place most people visit willingly. But Neil Moss wasn't most people. He was just 20. A bright, spirited university student. Curious. Adventurous. And on that cold March day, he joined a group of amateur cavers to explore the lower reaches of the cavern. As they descended deeper, the air changed. It became heavier. Damper. The narrow shaft Neil chose to explore hadn't been charted. It was unknown. Unnamed. And for a good reason. Neil volunteered to go down first. He was tall, thin, perfect for tight squeezes. A rope was secured. At first, all went smoothly. But as Neil slid deeper, the shaft narrowed. The walls pressed tighter. The rope slowed. Then stopped. The others called out, no response. Then, faintly, they heard his voice. "I'm stuck. I can't move." Panic rippled through the group. They tried to pull him out, but the angle was wrong. The shaft tilted steeply. And worse. Neil had kicked loose a mass of wet clay and rock that poured in around him, tightening the trap. He was now lodged, chest deep in mud. The walls pressed inward. The air was heavy with carbon dioxide, slowly building. Every breath harder than the last. Soon, the alarm was raised. Dozens of rescuers flooded to the site. Equipment was lowered. A journalist even arrived to cover what they hoped would be a rescue, not a recovery. Neil's father stood at the entrance. Watching. Waiting. Hoping. They sent a volunteer down, a woman named June Bailey. Slim, experienced. She wriggled down toward Neil. Reached him. But the air burned her lungs. CO2 levels were rising. She nearly passed out and had to retreat. Rescuers tried to pump fresh air down. They tried to lower tools. They tried to chip away By the second day, Neil's voice had faded. He was still alive. Still conscious. But barely. "Tell my mother. I'm sorry. Don't let them come down here. It's too dangerous." His final words were recorded, soft, shivering, filled with sorrow and acceptance. Rescuers wept. His father pleaded. But the shaft had become a tomb. Eventually, the silence returned. No more words. No more breathing. Only stillness. Neil Moss had died. Trapped in a vertical shaft. Alone in the cold, wet dark. The decision was made, his body would remain where it lay. It was too dangerous. The gas levels too high. The rock too unstable. His parents, devastated, agreed. A final act of love. Let him rest in peace. Undisturbed. The passage was filled with stone and rubble. A small plaque installed. The entrance sealed. No one speaks of that tunnel anymore. And no one dares go near it. They say, if you press your ear to the wall on a quiet night, you might still hear a faint whisper echoing through the rock. Don't come down here. Neil Moss went seeking adventure in the earth's darkest places. And found something ancient, something patient. The stone closed around him like a fist. And now, he waits. Silent. Deep below. A reminder. That not every cave lets you back out.